Okay, bear with me a minute while I get a tone on this, okay? My name's Al Stone. I was born in 1954 on the south side of Chicago in an area you wouldn't walk through. Everybody in my family plays music. My mother is originally right from Jacksonville, right here. My father met her in the Navy. They knew each other a week. We're married 50 years. And she told me the story that when she was little, my grandfather was basically a moonshiner. And he said he needed somebody to play guitar with, so she was going to learn. And of course, the guitar was this big on her, you know. But I've been really having a lot of fun getting very deeply involved in the old styles and stuff. So that's what I'd like to show you, some of that original old-time stuff with a little bit of the, I'd say, 50s and 40s style addition to it with the old-time amps. And I'll play an example of something here. Days, a lot of the blues players, they didn't have money for instruments, so they built guitars with a stick and a box, and then they'd flatten the top of the stick and they'd put some wire in there and make frets, and that'd be their guitar. Generally, they didn't have more than 3 strings on them because they were using old guitar strings if they could get them, you know. So that would be the cigar box thing, and that was happening, you know, early 1900s, stuff like that. Earlier than that even, they have some examples in a website that shows the history of them where they actually got some examples prior to that. Nowadays you can get the plans for them and build them. They're actually pretty cool. If you rock it out a little bit and get your, you know, crunched out little sound, you can play some really nice. I would say Hubert Sumlin, Jimmy Page, and Jeff Beck are my 3 favorite guitar players of all times. And in fact, influencing me, I would have to say Eric Clapton did, but he's not necessarily one of my favorite, you know. He's good and everything, but you gotta understand, when I listened to him, he was in a band called Cream, and they just totally kicked butt, you know. So that was, you know, when I was a teenager. I'm going to add something that was a common effect in the old days, called a tremolo. And it sounds something like this. And this is, like I said, you might recognize this a little bit, but let's see what I can get going here. I signed this little record deal with this record company, Electric Ride Records, out of Chicago, and they just happened to pick a venue in the town I grew up in, and hadn't done a show with my own band there in 20 years. So when I showed up, the place was packed out, and there was limousines there and all this stuff, people coming in to see me. I had ex-wives bring me roses. It was really weird. And I ran into about 4 or 5, maybe 6 guys that I grew up with, and they all claim that I'm the reason they play guitar. That was the best part of the show for me to hear that, because I honestly never knew that. So after everybody started playing, you know, the old cigar box guitars and dobros, which came around, but a lot of people didn't have money for all that, and there was a few people that did them with acoustics. Then they got into what you just heard with the electric stuff, you know, the early guys. And then in Chicago, a guy named Willie Dixon decided that it was okay for a guitar to do something other than you know, stuff like that, you know, that they did it on that. They quit doing that because they realized they could do something more like. And it was okay to do it, you know.